kama de bouli, Jabba kama de bouli, Jensi kama de bouli, Soutanyodi, oh, il côté que nous.
Following a 200 run out.
We start the first day with the 93 runs needed, 93 runs needed. So the Hamilton side very much in the driving seat. Good morning, Greg. But yesterday morning at the start, the Blackwood side was very much in the driving seat.
Yes, morning Reds and morning to all those following the broadcast. Yes, certainly they were in the driver's seat, 197 one and two set overnight batsmen. She hoped 104. One would have envisaged perhaps the Hamilton team would have been chasing close to 400 runs.
We were talking about decoration at tea.
Well, a possibility, and within an hour and a half, 7 wickets fell for some 27 runs.
Yeah. So Cornwall to start. Yesterday he had 20 overs, 5 wins, 2 for 61. We'll go through the bowling figures with Greg as time allowed. And that's hit driving through the line down towards a long on. Maybe too early in the piece, Greg, to employ a long on so early, because the early overs, nobody can be looking to play big shots.
Yes, very, well, you could say defensive to start off with.
Yep. So, overnight, Reefer was 22 and Palmer was 15. And now Reefer comes into strike as Palmer got a single off the first ball, and a similar situation, just on the line what we just talked about, whether the long on should come into an orthodox fielding position. So the total moves on. The countdown started. 91 needed. Will it be a nail biter? Would there be fall of wickets? And this time, looking maybe to go through the unguarded mid-on position, find straight mid-wicket. The return comes in and shatters the bails in all directions, but the batsman was well home. So 23 and 16 respectively. We will look at the kind of start they had yesterday. Powell and Mosley, this gave a good platform. Cornwall, 2 wickets under his belt. Goes back, the body weight on the left foot, gets it behind it, and plays it to the very short mid-off. So except for the long off, it's a fairly attacking field. Bright sunshine, although we've had a fair amount of rain this morning, certainly in the Bontier area, which is a couple of 100 meters from here. It fell quite heavily, but it didn't stop the start of play. Cornwall in, that big appeal for leg before, turned down by umpire Braffett. That completes the first over of the morning. And let's look back at yesterday. Greg, good start, 63 on the board before we saw Mosley leg before Cornwall for 36.
Yes, good opening stand between Mosley and Powell. And, well, they did well against the faster bowlers, but really fell to the spin of Rakim Cornwall, playing across the line and was a judge. LBW.
And then, disappointingly, from West Indies' point of view, Bonner, who is one of the stars of the Bangladesh tour and got runs against Sri Lanka, went cut off McCoy for 1, 66 for 2.
Yes, certainly a disappointing outing for him. Not on 1, so he would have certainly be one of those that would have wanted to score runs second innings, but he failed for a second time.
Well, not good preparation for any test match, but he'll have to draw on his confidence. Phil Simmons will no doubt have to work with him. But then we had the man who really banked, who was the banker, Powell, who was close to 100, falling 95, falling to 95. And maybe the disappointing, he didn't go on to get the 100.
Yes, looked very solid, really organized at the wicket up until when he looked to whip one across the line and on the top edge.
Mears down the leg side, and they run a bye because the Silver had to come. In fact, this is a bit sloppy here because they will run an extra one, not the best of returns. I mean, there was no pressure at all for anybody once the Silver had gotten to the ball, but it was a wayward delivery down the leg side. No blame on the Silver not taking that because he had to run and get the glove. And he might have just had a little side strain, stretching there. So 222 on the board. 222 is like a bingo number. Mears in the commentary box in. And that's turned and no single on because Reefer realized that Palmer was coming quickly. Stop, he advanced, and then he put on his brakes. Chase. Unfortunately, retired hurt, hit in the groin, and seemed to be in great discomfort.
Yes, not the sort of experience that any batsman really want to go through whenever they're out in the middle. But hopefully, we would very much like to see him come back and have a knock if needs be.
Yes, he's a contender for a test place. Mears making Reefer work for it, coming forward. He's like he's decided he's going to go around the wicket to the two left-handers, which is good thinking, because it's difficult to get a leg before bowling over, unless you're really on leg stump and you're not going down off. You got to get it straightened. Mears 9 overs, 2 minutes, not for 29 yesterday. And that's reaching out and driving straight to cover. And is that Jason Holder?
Yes, Reds.
Well, you know, people, you don't get a little email saying that Jason Holder will be in the field today. Maybe he can bowl too, because we've seen some of the substitutes coming in and bowling. But right now, it's Mears in and again forward, but just plays a check shot. And Holder is full of beans. Well, I suppose when you've been locked up in a hotel for 5 days, you're enjoying the sunshine and you're enjoying the freedoms.
Yes, yesterday I saw him and Ocean Thomas doing a few short sprints. So certainly he is enjoying the sunshine out there and a chance to be out in the middle.
Yes. What's the situation with Braffett and Azari Joseph? We do not know. We assume they're here outside the off stump. That could not have been too far from the edge. It went straight through, taken by the Silver. And at the end of that, 23 to Reefer, 16 to Palmer. And the bowling yesterday, Harding 9 overs, none for 31. Bowl quickly?
Yes, they bowl a few quick deliveries, but really was not consistent with the line and length.
Cornwall yesterday, 20 overs, 5 minutes, 2 for 61, going in about 3.
Yes, basically he came in and put in the bricks and just kept things tight at one end.
McCoy, 4.3 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 18.
Yes, McCoy bowled a lively spell, certainly.
So Cornwall will continue. He's over number 22 for him. And that's and don't think he got a hand to it. Outside edge, looking to drive square. And Cornwall getting some turn there. Didn't get to the pitch. Almost a late, he moved forward, but then didn't carry through with the stroke. There was a slight hesitation, then came the drive. So, a bit of a shot in the dark. Palmer going to 18 and driving straight. And there's an appeal for a run-out. Did it brush anything near the boot or hand of Cornwall? That's one way to get out. I saw that in 63s. Sobers batting with Butcher and Tony Locke was bowling, and he played hard off the back foot. Butcher taking a step out, backing up. And Locke just diverted the ball into the stumps, and Butcher was run out. A slip in a forward short leg for Palmer, who gets right forward. And for correction, this Reefer. Two left-handers. One is bigger in body weight than the other. Bigger shoulders. Cornwall wheels away and playing back to a delivery. Misjudged the length totally there, Greg. 223 for 4.
Yes, the delivery, he should have been playing forward. Was on the back foot, and the ball kept trifle low as well.
The third or fourth delivery just kept low. But overall, this pitch has behaved wonderfully well. Now he reaches forward to a slow delivery by Cornwall. Pushes out in the offside. Originally, the South Africans were set to go to Trinidad. Conditions in Trinidad would have suited Cornwall maybe a lot better here. That's outside the leg stump, and he gets a chance. Maybe he got an opportunity to pull it down to square leg, but missed the opportunity. Hit outside leg stump, the end of the over from Cornwall. So, Pamal, 21 overs, 4 maidens, 1 for 6. So one got the impression that he was eager to have a bowl.
Yes, considering the first inning he had only bowled just 2 overs, he certainly got a chance to have a long marathon spell yesterday, which would have done his confidence a world of good.
And Walsh, well, the whole exercise is to give players an opportunity to practice their skills in game conditions. Walsh, 4 overs, 1 maiden, none for 3.
Yes, he was introduced late in the day, but he found that he bowled with good control.
Yes, he gave nothing over pitch or short that he can be in pull or square cut. And maybe we might see him later on. But right now it's Mears in his 11th over. Around the wicket, driving, looking to drive through the line. So whether the flexibility will go as far as maybe Jason Holder having a couple of overs is all about preparation for the first test on June 10th.
Yes, one would think that Jason Holder would be part of the 11. So I would see nothing wrong if he gets a chance to bowl today.
Yes, this whole exercise is about preparing. Mears would have liked to have gotten a few more runs. You know, he's got a heavy act to follow, Greg. When you get a double century early in your career, a lot is expected of you.
Yes, he has set the bar real high, so it's always a daunting task to try to maintain or even surpass that bar which he has set, which is quite high.
Yes, Norton 38, Mears from the commentary box in, and delivery which takes the inner part of the bat as he came forward. You might suggest that he did open the face. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And it's one more down to a wide long leg position, or wide fine leg. Anyway, 6 of one, half none of the other. Mears has got 2 slips. Gully is a backward point. Holder is at a short cover, almost in a catching position. Mid-off, wide, mid-on, mid-wicket. Mears once more, it goes in, gets a short delivery, and Palmer just bending at the knees, gets out of the way. So trying a few things here, Mears. I think yesterday the bowling of Seals was the highlight. 4 wickets under his belt.
Yes, he bowled very impressive. Good line, good length, and at time he bowled real quick as well.
Could be a contender. Big question mark on Gabriel. I think if you had a quick answer, big doubt whether he'll be fit enough to come back to fitness in this test match. An option on Azari Joseph, or do you give Seals an opportunity on a pitch which is expected to help all the fast bowlers forward, nice angled bat, help all from both the West Indies and from South Africa, Greg?
Yes, conditions should really favor the fast bowlers. So it would be no surprise if West Indies perhaps play 4 fast bowlers in this test match.
Yes, they could well play 4 fast bowlers. And maybe a toss-up whether to play Chase, who can bowl off spin, and Lenkis the batter, or play Cornwall, who is your front line off spinner. Driving down the ground, nice looking shot by Palmer. This will go into the boundary. And a lovely shot, pitched up and driving straight. He didn't hit it with all the power in the world, but Bravo running back had no chance at all. So maybe the shot of the morning. He moves up to 20, scoring a little faster than he did yesterday. Reefer is 27, and they started needing 93, and they've started to cut back. And we were talking about declaration at tea yesterday. You think this will go past lunch?
Well, at the rate that they're scoring, it may not. But there's a possibility, right? I think we would go past the luncheon interval.
Yes. Depends on how containing Cornwall could be. If he's wicket-taking, it will just slow down the scoring. He's bowling with a slip and a forward short leg. Let's see where Holder will finally stop. He's walking to a short mid-off. There is a orthodox mid-off wide. That's undriven. That's the escape valve. If you want to rotate the strike, that's the opportunity. I still feel that the long on should come into a mid-on, because I don't believe in the circumstances anyone will want to go over the top so early. Cornwall working first, and that's turned very fine. There's runs here, maybe 1, there'll be 2. As Bravo is looking back just to see what are the plans of the 2 lefties. 2 runs to the total. Moves to 29. He's had a good game. 60, 29, picked up a couple of wickets. He's a man for all seasons. Reefer?
Yeah, apparently, right? Seems to be having a good game.
Cornwall wheels away from wide of the crease, and that is on the line here. That was push just to the left of Cornwall. It just went maybe about 10 meters back. Mid-off was a little slow in coming across, and they were able to take a signal. Ball turning away. As Palmer's reaching out, hits the face of the bat, goes down to a gully position, backward point and slip, tries to pick it up. No addition to total, 234 for 4. And he's off the back foot in this occasion. Get to the left of the squarish cover, and they come back easily for a single, as Cornwall was a little short. So nicely played. And this morning, Palmer's looked a lot freer than yesterday.
Yes, look more relaxed. Seems to be timing the ball beautifully this morning.
Well, the pressure is maybe less now, because they went through that difficult period, Reefer and Palmer, 22 and 15 overnight. Cornwall bowls and plays defensively. They came together at 187-4, and if a couple of wickets had gone down before the close, it could have been anybody's game.
Yes, but the 2 batted resolutely yesterday afternoon, as you did indicate, really went for a little testing period. And this morning, with the sun out in all its glory, they taking full advantage of still good batting conditions.
Yeah. Well, New Zealand lost quite a few wickets up to lunch. But then the tail wagged a bit, and all reports, they got to 371, which is probably disappointing when you bat first at Lords. England playing no spinner. England playing no spinner, New Zealand playing one. And Conway, we understand, Greg, was run out for 200.
Yes, good performance on debut by Conway. So certainly he has started this series with a good, impressive knock.
Yeah, South African born, decided to migrate to New Zealand and worked his way up through district cricket. That is what it's called there. I remember northern districts and things like that. Still, it's going to be Mares. And 236. Scoring just over 3 and over. But no hurry, all the time in the world. It was all the time in the world when, in fact, the Blackwood side started yesterday. And 7 wickets fell for spit, as they say. Mears goes in, outside the off stump. It did come back. Might have just pulled in the seam a bit there, Greg.
Yes, good delivery by Mears. But Rifa certainly was equal to the task. He knew where his off stump was, and just allowed this one to go through to the keeper, De Silva.
The New Zealand press score, and the South African press score arriving tomorrow. I think the West Indies TV commentators are about to get here. That's driven out towards a very straight mid-wicket. Going very, very quickly and stopped. Total remains on 236 for 4. Palmer 23, Rifa on 30. The Rifas, as you have read and been told, are all related. There's a Rifa and umpires at the ruling end. All part of one family. Pitched up. Plays down towards a very slow, short mid-on. The Wilson family's got any cricketers, any uncles, any cousins?
On my side, Rex, a few of the guys played cricket, but not at a serious level. But the other Wilsons in Monrepo, they are more serious cricketers, but we're not related.
Solitary slip now in a gully, very fine gully, not the orthodox squarish gully for the hard edge outside the off stump. You played a lot of sport. Was your mother or father influence?
Well, my dad played cricket. Yeah, so I mean, growing up a little boy, I saw him playing cricket really on the road.
On the road?
Yeah.
You didn't play club?
Well, they had a little community club, which they played, but nothing too serious.
Right. So you probably would have started at primary school and then moved on and moved up. Mirrors, hair flopping, and that's good delivery, which he showed good skills. He came down it, hit the high up, not exactly on the splice of the bat, but kept it down, kept it to the right of the backward point, almost coming to the old-fashioned cover point, and the single is rotated. 23 Palmer, 31 Rifa. Partnership has just come up, and a good one. 63 for 1, 66 for 2. Yep. The display tells you all, brings you right up to date. Congratulations to the West Indies board for arranging this special 4-day focus, seeing throughout the Caribbean and beyond. I even got an email from Aruba, someone who is seeing the YouTube all over there, all the way from Leicestershire in England, which is a football playing country, but there's a Guyanese who lives up there. Good delivery, came back, and he played off the back foot. Quite a few friends have been calling and asking questions. So it's the end of the over. That's the end of my opening bit. There'll be more from Greg. And then it will be Ryan O'Brien for the first time this morning.
Yes, good batting exhibited by these two batsmen, Palmer and Reefer. Good batting conditions, and they are certainly taking good advantage of it. They know what the target really is. 311 for what Ryan would say is a comeback victory. They considered some 86 runs on first innings, so a much better batting display second time around by the Hamilton 11.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Greg Wilson. And for sure, this has really been a great start to the morning, and it would have been quite in contrast to yesterday when we had 2 quick wickets going, and that then changed the complexion of this game. As Cornwall started a new over, and on this occasion, the batsman Reefer just drawn forward in defense. He's on 31 of 63 deliveries and has really played well. So towards Palmer, who has grown in confidence as Cornwall looking for the breakthrough. Sees Reefer coming off the back foot, pushing his one up to the mid-wicket region, and no possibility of the run. Mears doing the fielding. This time Reefer standing up tall, coming across, pushing it into the offside. The captain Jermaine Blackwood, he fields, and there's no addition to the score. 237 for 4. We've lost the sunshine momentarily, and to this delivery, Reefer is coming forward, drawing the silver from behind the stumps. He comes across, picks up, relays via Palmer and Blackwood. Back to Cornwall now, bowling for Towell. Tucked in his trousers, is coming forward. His batsman, Reefer. Again, Blackwood has to field, so just the trend shows that Cornwall is very consistent with his line, and then for well, and this time the batsman Reefer is drawn into defense, and again Blackwood has to come to field. So the completion of a very good over there by Raheem Cornwall, keeping up the pressure and still not giving up, looking for the breakthrough early this morning, with Hamilton's team starting in a relatively strong position, 218 for 4 with Reefer on 22 and Palmer 15, and they've really gone on. Reefer up to 31 and Palmer is on 23.
Yes, they still continue to bat resolutely out in the middle, but nothing away from Cornwall. He's not giving them any freebies. He's completed some 24 overs, so he certainly has bowled quite a bit in the second innings.
Well, Hamilton's team would be needing 74 to complete what would be a very wonderful victory here. Just the rights to, look at their opposing team and saying, well, in the end, we got the better of you. But we're going to have the start of a new over. Mears from the northern end here at the dance, and we've gone outside the off stump, and Palmer just allows it to go through to the keeper. So both batsmen, we can safely say, have settled in this morning, and would have been much more confident. We would have said Greg Wilson starting the day with just 93 to secure a win for their team, and continuing, they brought it down now to 74. And yesterday you gave a lot of ratios, and I'm sure right now it's widening much more on the side of Hamilton's team as Mears. And again, this time, good delivery, beating the outstretched bat and given out. So Palmer goes, coming forward, the edge found a good delivery there from Mears. He was forced to play, and maybe a bit of an extra bounce, defeating the outstretched bat of Palmer. So the wicket goes this morning. A lovely delivery by Kyle Mears. He's now got 1 for 35, and this one a very good delivery, just getting the outside edge, and a good confident catch taken by the keeper, De Silva.
Yes, certainly this one angling into the batsman really had to play, and the extra bounce, as you did indicate, Ryan, from what we saw on the monitor, was the undoing of Palmer. So certainly a good breakthrough by the Blackwood 11. They certainly would have wanted to make very early inroads into the batting, knowing what happened to them yesterday morning, there was an early fall of wickets, and then it was just a procession of batters in and out of the crease. So they would be hoping that the same could continue this morning, and if that does happen, it should ensure them a victory in this game.
Well, yesterday we had about 7 wickets falling for 27 runs, and right now it's 74 and 5 wickets remaining. So let's see if this game will continue to shift from one side to the next. I would say the pendulum keeps swinging, and Roston Chase, who retired hurt yesterday, he has come back in to resume his innings and looks much more comfortable this morning. And I'm sure just by the warm-up movements inside his crease, a far cry than the way he got struck yesterday, was on the ground for close to 10 minutes, and in the end, when he decided to go off, walked off very disconcertingly.
Yes, an early night's rest certainly would have done wonders for Roston Chase. So one would hope that he could come back and resume the innings and see his team over the line.
So we see the bowler having a brief conversation there with Bravo, maybe looking to work out some strategy against Chase. So Blackwood taking some time to get his fielding positions in order. He's brought the backwards square, Walsh into the offside, now to a wideish extra cover position, sending him back a bit, a few paces. There's also man short at the short cover position. There's also the mid-off. So a little more attack there for Chase. New batsman coming after having retired hurt yesterday. Holder is at mid-wicket. Takes a slow in. This one is outside the off stump. And the uncertain prod by Chase, taken by the silver behind the stump. So 237 for 5 now. We've had 78 overs completed and 3 balls. And success coming this morning for Mears, 1 for 35 of 12.3 overs.
Yes, good success, good consistent bowling by Chase this morning, and it has paid dividends.
So Mears moves away from us this time, doesn't complete the action. The dead ball signal rather early. I know, Greg, listen, if you actually recognize what happened, because it seemed to me that umpire Rifa had signaled the dead ball even before Mears had pulled out of his bowling approach. I know there's some movement somewhere on the field. So they're being rather unusual. But he did abort his approach, and he's trying once more, 1 for 35. Into his 13th over this time again. Chase feeling for that one outside the off stump. Some movement in and good pace. So very tense period where these two will need to again establish some sort of partnership. We can see Reefer coming down to have a word of Chase.
Yes, Myers seems to be in a good rhythm this morning, and more so just having taken the wicket of power, that certainly would be giving him the boost perhaps to bowl a few extra yards.
So he's back at his mark. Again, it's outside the off stump, and on this occasion, Chase genuinely pulls his bat out of the line of delivery, and it goes through to the keeper. Remember, notice that overnight, with the knock from Young Powell, his knock of 95, had an interview with Cricket West Indies, and he did say that the pitch had gotten much better and was really in the best time of the match for batting. And we can see with the way these balls are carrying through to the keeper, that it has kept most of its condition from the start of this game. This one is forcing the batsman into defense, Roston Chase. So he's done well He's kept Mez out after a successful over, one in which he got the outside edge of Palmer's bat to get the breakthrough, 237 for 5 after 79 overs. So they've still got 74 runs to chase for this victory, and a very successful over for the bowler there, and overall for Blackwood's team as they look to get themselves back into this match.
Yes, one could say Ryan is probably even Stevens with some 74 more runs required and 5 wickets. The top half of the batting already back in the pavilion. So this partnership is a very crucial one. Roy Sanchez would have to come in and settle down with Reefer and start to build back the inning.
So he just worked off the pad straight to the backward short leg, almost a short fine leg position. Reefer, Bravo comes across to field, and Reefer can add to his score of 31. There's a solitary slip in Shea Hope. This one is just allowed to just come off the pad, and the tall figure of Jason Hola at the orthodox leg slip collects. So a lot of faith being shown in Raheem Cornwall by Jermaine Blackwood. He's kept on the attack. A decent spell yesterday against us this morning as Reefer is coming forward and pushing back at the track. Reefer no doubt looking for another good score to continue with his good all-round performance in this match. Run forward, this time off the outer portion of the bat. And again, Bravo comes around to his left. He feels no run. I'm sure they won't be taking any undue risk in forcing runs that might not necessarily be there for the taking. Again, he's drawn into defense. Cornwall showing lots of discipline this morning, attacking on about the off stump. Hasn't really given it that much air. It's kept it relatively flat, and batsmen haven't really had a chance to come out to meet him on the full. This time he's off the back foot, hitting square, and feel having to run across from the orthodox cover position at Pamal, but the single easily taken. And one more to a batsman, Reefer. He's up to 32. Chase was not added to his score when he retired. It's on 1, and we've had the completion of Cornwall's over, and so far 2 for 73 of 25 overs. So he's done the bulk of the bowling for his team, and I'm sure Jermaine Blackwood would be happy with his workload.
Yes, he has bowled quite a few overs from yesterday, and he has pretty much started the innings today. So he's been getting a good workout in this game in preparation for the first test.
And he's bowled well here is Mears to start a new over. He's coming around the wicket to the left-handed Reefer. Passes some by a Reefer as well. This one is stung the leg side. And Reefer just allowing it to go through to the keeper, De Silva. Sunshine back with us. It's a holiday here in St. Lucia, and holidays normally look like a Sunday. It's been very quiet even on our arrival and on our journey to the ground. We were quiet as Mears back to his mark. Reefer looking to stay around for as long as possible, just playing at one back of the track. An aggressive looking Mears picks up partially, and it's Blackwood who cleans up. So it's going to be another tense period to see who will stay in the ascendancy. But so far, Greg Wilson is a balancing act. And right now, Hamilton's team will need to really consolidate once more. I think it's a question of consolidation right through until this target is achieved. This time he's just playing this one of the outer portion of the bat. It goes square on the offside. And no run as young Hayden Walsh comes across the field. And at the same time, Black will be hoping that his bowlers will be penetrative enough to get a few more wickets before this target is achieved, if not to even pull off a victory.
Yes, both Mayers and Cornwall have really been keeping things relatively tight.
So it's Mayers who's continuing into his 14th over. This time he's bringing the forward defensive bat of Reefer. And two fielders converging on it. This is Jason Ola who comes across. And what are the chances that we see Ola getting a spell here today?
It won't surprise me if he gets a ball. I think he should, because it's all in preparation for the first test, and I would think that Jason Holder would be a certainty for the test.
Mayers, he's the one in operation now. 2 deliveries left in this over. This one is just pitching on outside the off stump and coming back in slightly, maybe from very slight movements of the seam, but good judgment shown there by Reefer, although maybe the movement afterwards could have suggested that it would have passed much closer to the off stump than he would have liked.
I think that Reefer certainly had it covered. We saw a fair bit of movement after the ball passed the stumps, so it still shows that there's still a bit of lateral movement out there even on day 4.
Certainly tribute to the preparation put in to the pitch for this game. This one is played quietly up on the onside. They over completed 238 now for 5, and the free flowing of the runs or the confidence, the consolidation shown at the beginning seems to have been tempered a bit now with the loss of Palmer, and certainly this very tough competition will continue right through to the end.
Yes, as they've said in cricket, if there's one way you want to stop the flow of runs, is by picking up wickets. And we saw the dismissal of Palmer, who was looking good this morning, play a few enterprising shots. And since his dismissal, we've seen about 3 maiden overs in succession have been walled.
So Chase just taking guard. He'll be facing Raheem Cornwall. Hasn't posted any additional runs following his retirement score of 1. But we saw him playing very patiently yesterday, and known for a very cool, calm head. Make sure that he's not going to do anything rash to offer the opposition any possibility of getting him out, at least not for lack of discipline on his part. He's coming forward, driving down to long on. We'll get the single. They feel having to come off the boundary in Harding. So an easy single taken, the strike rotated. And on this occasion, Cornwall very close to the batsman, allowing him to go into the drive. And 1 more to the score, 239 now for 5. Hope moves up to 2. And Cornwall, just a couple of steps. It's into his delivery. Feel it's coming forward off the outer edge. Reefer is getting the outer portion of the bat. It's falling just in front of Shea Hope at first slip. Looked a bit anxious for a moment. 239 for 5. It's on the back foot now. It's Reefer. Can't beat the man at the backward square position. And Bravo comes around. Rifles the return back into the keeper. Silver behind the stumps. And while this time the appeal comes up, he's coming forward and the umpire giving the decision. So Greg Wilson, we're having the dismissal now of the second overnight batsman in Reefer coming forward. The appeal going up immediately. So another very good blow struck, and could this be another twist of the tail?
Yes, good bowling there again by Cornwall. This one just getting the outside edge of the bats. Reefer looked a little disappointed, but we saw the keeper and bowler went up in unison with the appeal, which suggests that there was a touch, and good consistent bowling there by Cornwall, and it has paid dividends, Ryan.
6 for 239. Reefer LBW to Cornwall for 32. Well, could we have another twist? Reefer starting on 22 today, and then we noticed that with the fall of Palmer, the complexion of the game started to change a bit, and really the pressure now back on Hamilton's team, and he comes in now to see if he can start a partnership. So we're going to have, another case where the partnership will have to be built to bring some sort of ascendancy for his team.
Yes, he certainly would need to play a captain's knock if he's to see his team over the finish line. So, good contest. Chase was at the crease yesterday, had to retire hurt, but you could see it two relatively new batters at the crease. Looking at the length of time Chase has been out there for today, and Hamilton just coming in to join him.
And I'm sure it will need no invitation for Blackwood to put additional pressure on him. There's still a slip in Hope, but they've got the forward short leg. Blackwood himself coming at leg slip. It's backward square on the offside in Bravo. There is the extra cover in Mears. There's also the mid-off, the long on, and man almost solitary in that area. Mid-wicket, three-quarter way to the boundary in Versami Pamal. But it's been a very good spell this morning again by Rakim Cornwall. He's kept the pressure on. They dried up the runs a bit after initial free-flowing in the morning when he saw both Palmer and Reefer looking good. They've now picked up 2 wickets. This one is driven past the bowler, and Hamilton gets off the mark immediately. Chase a bit slow in moving off, but in the end having to scurry through, and the single taken without any catastrophe in the end, and Hamilton gets off the mark. The good thing about it that Chase left for the run. He didn't look back, but maybe was a bit slow in actually seeing that Hamilton was actually committing himself to the single.
Yes, Chase was slow to react for whatever reason, but at the end, the single was safely taken. Hamilton immediately getting off the mark.
So Cornwall 3 for 75, and he's just got one more delivery left in his 26 over. And one Chase, lovely shot, driving past extra cover. It'll go all the way to the boundary for 4. A lovely shot, good flowing drive, and showing that once it's in his arc, he will go for that drive. And Cornwall maybe just tossing too far up. Chase taking full advantage of that delivery, driving, flowing it to the outside, taking the score now to 244 for 6. So Greg Wilson is a very interesting position now, and the interest in this game has been kept throughout. We'll have further comments from you before our next commentator, Joseph Respereira, comes to you for the second time this morning.
Yes, very interested indeed. The pendulum continued to swing back and forth in the direction of both teams. At one time, the Hamilton 11 would have had the ascendancy, and then it would be wrestled from them by the Blackwood 11. This time they have lost 6 wickets, and a bit of consolidation did it between Chase and Hamilton to see if they could perhaps wrestle back that ascendancy in their favourites.
Yes, getting interesting, Greg, with the fall of the wickets this morning. 218 for 4, 239 for 6. Very important that these two stay together and maybe take it home or get very close to the 311. Mears is not happy with his report. The England score is not very happy. They're 18 for 2 when last I heard, in reply to the 374 by New Zealand, which grows every time they pick up a wicket. Sibley and Crawley gone. Here, 224 for 6. Chase and Captain Hamilton outside the line of the off stump. But what a debut by Conway. 200 run out.
Yes, that's not the best way any batsman really wants to go via the run out road, but he would be pretty much pleased with his efforts. On debut to have gotten 200 runs rate. So just a handful of players have been able to do that.
Yes, he would have been maybe one or two debutants who would have carried the bat right through. You know, likes of Lawrence Rowe, for example, got a double, but fell at 214. But really held the innings together, along with Henry Nichols. They were the main contributors, but England's sent back a bit, 18 for 2. So New Zealand has come back with a very early good start. Mears has had a good start, so has Cornwall, as Hamilton gets well forward. Little man, all the way from Anguilla, but could be born elsewhere. Who knows? Anguilla born, Kitishan born in Nevis. It doesn't matter where you were born, is what you focus on in life. Nothing like hard work. And he has put in a fair amount of hard work over the years for Anguilla and for the Leewards. And now gets a chance to be in the West Indies squad. They turned away. There's one, there'll only be one, as Holder comes in. Well, we have seen some people, Greg, originally not in the quote-unquote 11, come into the attack. Will Jason Holder get a ball?
I think he should.
Yes, I think maybe instructions should be sent. Let's give Jason Holder a couple of overs. 245 for 6 outside the off stump, and Chase just easing across, allowing him to go through to the silver. So Cornwall and Mears have done the bulk of the bowling this morning. Cornwall picking up a couple of wickets in this innings bowl. We feel that maybe there'll be a change, someone coming in to replace Mears very soon, outside the off. No pressure on Chase, who has returned. He was retired overnight, hitting the groin yesterday, but as Greg was saying, he hopes he gets a chance to come back and continue the innings, because he's a contender, no doubt. He gives the right balance. The West Indies have the depth in batting and also contribution with the bat. So needing 311, 245 or 6. Who your dollars on which side?
I think it is slightly in favor of the Blackwood 11 at this point, right?
You had it 60-40 yesterday.
Yes, I think it has gone the other way, 60-40, but it's in the favor of the Blackwood.
He's a betting man. He plays the pools. That's swept well down to a long leg, wide long leg, as he's outside the leg stump, down the wrong line. And Hamilton sweeping very nicely. Goes to 6, so is Chase, and the total goes up 249. Every boundary just gets them nearer to the target. I suppose within the squad there's bragging rights.
Yes, certainly you would always find that among teammates.
So Cornwall over the wicket, looking to turn that away. It bunks a bit, take the top of the pad. No appeal. The Silvers had a good game with the gloves, but not with the bat. Bunner has had a stinker, just one. But it's the day, the big day in the tent to really see one applying oneself. He's slotted down to bat at number 3. He would have liked to have a good long knock. This is pitched up and comes forward and plays quietly. I think Cornwall prefers bowling to the left-handers.
Yes, the off spinner certainly would prefer bowling to the left-handers.
Hamilton in two minds, started to come forward and then stop the advance. As the ball spins into him, he plays defensively. Cornwall is back to his mark near umpire. Braffett steps in and he's back and cuts that well. It wouldn't go into the boundary, but they can look for the third run if they run the second hard. Now Bravo looking over his shoulder to find they are looking to take the third run. So nicely clipped away as Cornwall is short of steady off stump. Although there was some bounce, he managed to control the shot. So he's been very busy as he moves to 9. And the total goes up to 252 for 6. Chase now comes into strike. Off spinner to off spinner. And he is well forward. There's a stumping appeal turned down by the umpire. And Cornwall completes yet another over. Fair amount of sport being played in the region. And I think there's a lot of regional football tomorrow. Barbados playing the Republic of Dominica. Where it's being played, not in Dom Republic, probably played in the neutral territory. Trinidad against Bahamas, and Guyana against St. Kitts and Nevis. All trying to qualify for World Cup. And then all the countries will be invited to Miami by CONCACAF, backed by FIFA, to play in a special invitation tournament, all expenses paid. So good for football. Some of the countries who are not involved in the CONCACAF playoff at least can look forward to going. Mears outside the off stump, too wide to make Hamilton rush into a decision. And now we see, well, Jason Hole being very vocal. We can't pick it up from here, but he was very vocal in the test match against Sri Lanka. So maybe he was just offering some encouragement to Mears. He goes wide of the crease and he plays it this time. Beats the probing outside edge, goes through low to the silver. And the ball will, I think Holder is in position for the ball to come to him. Now it comes to the short cover. Holder walks away out towards mid-wicket. But no doubt, since he has lost the captaincy, he's become a much more open personality. Short of steady off stump, he has to write it down. Gets it down towards a wide gully position. But he served the West Indies well. He came in at a difficult time. Smith of South Africa came in at a difficult time. Sammy came in at a difficult time, and maybe he didn't get as much support from the senior players. Mears still with 2 slips in the gully. And I'll ask Greg whether you feel that he's coming to an end of his spell. It's caught and pushing forward. And Mears just about where we're talking about ending his spell. I don't believe he will be ending his spell, because with a wicket under his belt, 2 for 36, he'll want to continue.
Certainly, good bowling there, good probing line outside the off stump, and Captain Hamilton just pushing at this one, getting the outside edge, and went to the left of the man at foot slip and took a relatively comfortable catch. So the Blackwood 11 continuing to make further inroads into the batting, some 7 wickets down, Red. So certainly the pendulum is certainly swinging even greater in their direction.
Well, it's interesting. The Blackwood 11 won the first 2 days. The Hamilton 11 won the 3rd day, and then got themselves well, their nose well in front. And all of a sudden now this fourth day is turning out to be a real decider.
Yes, interestingly enough, Red, just 59 runs required for a victory, but most importantly, just 3 wickets standing.
Yeah. Well, Chase is now the senior man. Chase the senior man. The Watercart has come on, I wouldn't say sneaked on, but it's just about 1 hour of play. And after 1 hour of play, we've seen a situation from 218 for 4. They've lost Palmer for 30, Reefer for 32, and Hamilton for 9, because 4 they got 237, 239, and now 252 for 7. So a discussion between the new arriving batsman and Chase. Chase 6, waiting for the water break to finish. And your thoughts on this pitch on the 4th day, Greg?
Well, it has still offers assistance to the seamers. We've seen Cornwall getting a wicket as well. So it's still a good cricket wicket, Reds. I think if the batsmen really apply themselves, play every ball on its merit, and be patient, they're capable of scoring runs. And if the bowlers put the ball in the right direction, and they too be patient, they also can reap some success.
You played here when it was a different kind of track, when it was maybe a slower dog?
Well, I played on it when it was slow. The entire square was relayed. It was quick at the time, but last year it was been relayed, I think, for the 3rd time. So it has settled down well. About 3 weeks ago, we were fortunate enough to play a Northern veterans versus Southern veterans, and it was quite lively out there. So it's a good track. If the bowlers really put in the effort, from what we have seen, both in the T10 blast we saw and even in this game, they certainly could get some really bounce and pace out of the wickets.
I think the North veterans won. You got a few runs?
Yes, Reds, I got 22 in that game.
I mean, very modest, 22.
Retired.
Retired. Always willing to give the details and his scores. Roland Cox is checking out a few things that he's yet to come up with.
But surprisingly, you didn't ask me about last weekend.
No, I
failed to trouble the scorer. 1 ball.
kept low.
No, Reds. I think we needed a set of free stumps, but this is just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Right. But failed to trouble the scorers last weekend. I mean, we were in a very precarious position. Actually, we were like 24 for 5. And we were able to pull off the 129 for 6.
Yes.
So it was a good comeback.
Yeah, very good comeback.
Yeah.
Well, the Blackwood team has made a comeback here. Mayor's now 2 for 36, and needing, as Greg pointed out, 59 runs. So it could be a nail biter. Maybe the most nail biting test match I've ever done in my life was when, in fact, the West Indies won by 1 run. And McDermott caught Murray Bowl Walsh. That was the day that big men cried. It was very, very tense. Very tense. And Desmond Haynes at forward square leg made a very important stop. And McDermott flicked Walsh, his outside leg stump. If he had gone past Haynes, Australia would have won. Mayors looking for more success as the left-handed Cotoy that comes. Now, like Pamal, he had very little to do it, and Pamal had a lot of work. Now he gets a chance, not to bowl really, but he gets a chance to show his batting skills, Cotoy.
Yes, and he has done well past few seasons for the Winwoods, so a good chance for him to come good with the bat.
Very orthodox player. Very good in the field. I think he matches Walsh in that area too. That's outside the off stump. He plants that leg and shoulders arms, it goes through to the silver. That completes the over. And there's no way we aren't going to see Mares continue with a couple more overs. Sometimes you feel, well, that will be your last one. The bowler picks up a wicket and you give him 2 more.
Yes, certainly. Once the bowler keeps picking up wicket red, there's no way he feels tired. He won't feel that he's tired at all. But he has bowled very well this morning. Some good consistent line and length, asking question of the batsman, and in the process has picked up wickets. So they continue to keep things tight, continue to pick up wickets, and most importantly, once they could do that, they perhaps would ensure their team pulling out a victory.
So Seals and Warrican to come next. They're both very useful. Chase is well forward and plays that out in the onside. Now, Chase has got to decide how he's going to try and steer this combination with him.
Yes, he I would think, would have to do.
Bounced a bit on that occasion, and Mayor's just pulling out the bottom hand. So I think we've seen signs that this pitch is starting to turn.
Yes, a bit of turn from Cornwall in the last few overs.
Cornwall, and he plays that square leg, going back and playing with the turn. Good batting, challenging spin into the pad, but missing leg stump, and he just turned it nicely. Strike is rotated, he's gone to 7. Kotoy, who should know a little bit about spin, as he takes guard to await Cornwall, who switches around the wicket to the left-hander. There is now a second slip. Good captaincy here. Could even be a silly point. Kotoy is ready. So is Cornwall, who wheels away and goes back and plays that quietly out in the offside. Kotoy will probably more than Chase look to take a chance or two. He's aggressive by nature.
I think it's these two, I mean, could still look to hang around Reds. It's not like you're down to number 9 yet.
Nope. Outside the off stump, jump and take by the Silver. Making the batsman play. Kotoy just pulling the pads on like Chanjapal. A little fiddle on the roof. Cornwall goes in and Kotoy goes back and leaves it alone outside the off stump, taken low by the bootlaces by the Silver. That completes the over by Cornwall. It's been a Cornwall Mears combination, and starting in the morning at 218 for 4, they have reached 253 for 7.
Yes, they certainly have continued to keep things tight and picking wickets along the way. But Reds, the Chase really would have to guide the lower order batting if they are to pull out a victory today.
Well, happy holiday to all who celebrates Corpus Christi. Ryan, in typical holiday fashion, has a touch of the Woodstock, nicely dressed this morning, as if he wasn't nicely dressed each day, but the color scheme has changed. Mares to continue. It's been a long ball, but when you're picked up wickets, it doesn't really matter. He comes in to chase, looking to drive at that, and just for a while it looked it might have just carried, but parried away. You just got to watch those drives. It could be lofted.
Yes, so we have seen player Shea Hope in particular. Remember, he got caught yesterday at short cover, driving very early.
Yes, and this short cover is even shorter. There's 3 slips, quite wide apart. Comes forward. He has to face the bat onto it as he goes out towards square cover. So tomorrow another working day. Some parts of the Caribbean it's not a holiday, and we wish that the rains will stop in Guyana. There's a lot of flooding, especially in my home county of Western the Pomeroon River. The water is very high. Many places are really facing a difficult time with the large rainfall. In comes Mears, he covers up, gets onto the front foot. Chase pushes out in the offside. You hear about the great floods that has happened throughout the world. I remember my dad talking about a major flood in Guyana. I was born, in fact, in very rainy weather. Mears was into chase. That kept low, but he was onto the front foot. And again, we see evidence of a couple of keeping low.
Yes, few deliveries, the odd ones, Reds tend to keep low. Whether it's a spot out there, we're not sure, or a crack or something, but generally the wicket has played through. But the odd ones tend to keep low, especially in the southern end.
Mears, good shoulders, strong man, plays off the back foot now, Chase. A little bit more freedom when it's that short, but he doesn't beat the cover fieldsman. Some cricket this weekend. The Sandals on the 19 continue, I'd imagine.
Well, actually, there are matches today.
Matches today?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Well, Sunil Ramdeen will probably be checking that. He's the Sandals lead man. Boy from Port of Spain, but maybe he's not from Port of Spain. A keen cricket fan. Played a little bit, we are told. We haven't seen evidence of the scores or the number of wickets he might have gotten. That's outside the off stump. And Chase now walking away as the over is in fact completed. So a bit of a chess match here now. Things are getting tight. Nobody wants to concede runs. Nobody wants to concede wickets.
Yes, a good grip in cricket. And that's what, well, it's not a test match, but that is what the longer version is really supposed to be, where the back paths will dominate for a while, and then the bowlers certainly are the ones who are on top, really testing the patience of the batters out there.
So Cornwall just waiting for the batsman to settle, the field to be finalized. There's a slip, leg slip, forward square leg. There's a backward punch, a short cover mid off, long on, he's forward. And Katoy playing it quite carefully, confidently back towards the bowler. He's at the score, 7 to chase, 253 for 7. It's outside the off stump, he kicks at it. He felt it was going to turn away. Cornwall, a jumping half stifle appeal, but it was pulled back. Now he settles once more. Tall left-hander from St. Vincent the Grenadines, and no doubt wants to do well here. He would have experienced, before he left to come to the camp, he would have experienced the volcano erupting. But we keep our fingers crossed that will go to sleep very soon, totally. Gets to the pitch and plays it down towards mid-on. Goes for a little walkabout. Some batsmen talk to themselves. Bobby Simpson, the Australian Open, said he had great conversations with himself facing Wesley Hall in 60-61. Delivery which just pulled back a bit. He got forward back. You played spin better than you played pace?
I would say pace, Reds, because I opened the inning.
Okay. Answer is short and to the point. He's back and pulls that. Measured it very well. As soon as it was short, he was back in the position and gets off the mark with a good solid boundary. So Katoy is 4, Chase is 7. A battle here for bragging rights. They're trying to get up to 311. More from Greg, who like pace. We haven't seen a great deal of pace. We've seen medium fast bowling and off spin, and then it'll be Ryan O'Brien.
Yes, a rare A long hop there from Rakim Cornwall to Kieran Kotoy. He was into position very quickly and dispatched this one through the vacant mid-wicket boundary for valuable runs. Rakim Cornwall really has kept things tight whole morning, has not given much away. But Kotoy on this occasion, just seeing this one loose and was very quick to pounce on this one, Ryan.
Yes, certainly, and in terms of Kotoy, it would have eased a lot of the pressure because he was able to get off the mark in a commanding fashion. And we're actually seeing that we're going to have a change at the northern end. So Blackwood looking to ensure that these two don't get too accustomed with the attack that he's offered them at this stage.
Well, Mayers had ball quite a long spell this morning. He bowled for over an hour. So I think it was fitting that perhaps would have been given a break. But with him taking a wicket, he was given perhaps an additional over.
So it's going to be Harding for the first time this morning. And Mayers is able to pick up the wickets of Palmer, caught by the wicketkeeper De Silva for 23, it was then 5 for 234. And then he had Hamilton caught by Hooper. Good catch diving to his left. And he had gone for 9, 7 for 252. It's now 7 for 257. And it's going to be Roston Chase, who is on to a sort of a second coming in this game. Retired yesterday when he was on 1. He's on 7, waits as Harding gets him on the party, whips it away. Good shot, good feeling there on the long leg boundary. There's knocking that one down before it was able to cross the boundary rope. But in the end, Chase gets 2. Good piece of work down there by Mayers.
Yes, good work indeed. Moving to his left.
It's good side, but it was really traveling quickly.
Yes, good with the work. The pressure with the introduction of Harding there seems to have just loosened slightly, just straight onto the pads. Good first welcome delivery there to Warriston Chase. Just flick this one off the pads.
But it's quite obvious he's going to enjoy the pace on the ball. He's able to get some bats onto that one. It wasn't for the quick moving fielder in Mayers. That could have well have brought him a boundary. The score is a 259 and it still remains a very competitive chase as this one is pushing the batsman forward and plays it solidly up to mid-on. 2 straight, 2 powerful. Gets to Bravo quickly, he feels, no run. So you're seeing more pace off the pitch, more pace off the bat.
Yes, certainly we had in much quicker bowler than Mayers. Roy Sanchez, all he had to do is perhaps just use the pace of Harding. Once he could find the gaps, he should be able to pick up runs quite easily.
So let's see if Blackwood will continue with Cornwall at the southern end, keeping pressure on the batsmen in the variety of attack. But it's Harding right down over the wicket, and this one is short and wide outside the off stump. Call wide too by umpire for a very wide delivery. And the keeper, Silva, doesn't look too pleased with it. Probably saying we can't afford to be given any extra runs at this point in time. So it's been a very competitive among all the players in this game so far, and you can see the disappointment of the Silva in that extra fired wide from Harding.
Yes, certainly the players, they are taking the game serious and more so wanting to win. They know what's at stake and also some bragging rights.
Yes, they will need wickets because the Hamilton's team can win this game on wides. There's so much time left. They've got to get the wickets. This one is down the leg side, overcompensating, and it goes all the way. This time, no chance for the fielder, right over the long leg region for 6. So really, too far wide, too far down the leg side, and Chase just going through and with the pace hitting that one over long leg for 6.
Yes, so Harding again has proven that he has struggled in his opening overs. He tends to take about 2 or 3 overs to really settle down. But with the team at the stage, the game at the stage that it is, one would want him to get into rhythm and get into the line on it as quickly as possible if they are to make a match of this game.
Very disappointing what he served up to chase so far his shot in this occasion, forcing the batsman to buckle a bit. Comes off the pad, but no chance of a decision being given there for LBW. And ball just going into the offside where Hayden Walsh Jr. fields. So in that over, some acceleration by the 2 batsmen, and I'm sure they're happy with the sort of the easing a bit of the pressure and able to get some runs to close on the target.
Yes, it certainly has really eased the pressure that was created by Mayers and Rakim Cornwall at the southern end.
You need to pull it back. Harding, this one is on the pad and driven again, lofted shot. Will it go one bounce into the boundary? No, yes it does. So it's proving to be very expensive. This one too far up and again on the pad. And Ralston Chase seems to say thank you. It's not that close to lunch yet, but I'll accept the food and the drink. And picks up yet another boundary that eases a lot of the pressure on the batting team.
Yes, and all of a sudden it has gone down to some 41 runs required. So certainly they are getting much closer to the victory target, and the introduction of Harding really looks like, if he continues to bowl for much longer in that sort of way, that they're going to get to the victory target way before lunch.
It's really given Blackwood something to think about. He's positioned himself back at mid-off, and Bravo going to the mid-on position, and it's another attempt to dislodge Chase, and he's coming forward, plays it beautifully to the left of Blackwood. He is quick, Chases. Can he stop it? Has he? We'll have to wait. No, the signal coming now from the umpire. So very expensive going there from Harding. But this time it was Chase showing all his class, playing through the line and hitting on the top of the bounce and got it to the left of Blackwood. Blackwood is quick, but certainly couldn't solve it. For a moment, thought the sliding effort would have saved them, but the ball in the end eluding him and went to the rope. So a very useful over for the batting side. They got up to 274 for the loss of 7, and Chase rather accelerating, he went to 23.
Yeah, very expensive over, right? In some 17 runs coming off this over. So with a lull in the scoring for the longest while, all of a sudden with the introduction of Harding, there's been a flurry of shots, a flurry of boundaries. So certainly the Hamilton 11, Ryan, has again gotten the pendulum swinging in their direction with that last over.
Well, there's 3 wickets standing. Let's see if Cornwall can get the pressure back on the batsman. This one is pushed up to the mid-on, and no chance of a run on that occasion. Mears comes into field, so Cornwall will have a lot of work to do to ensure that he keeps it tight. To Kotoy, previous over, just putting one down, and Kotoy responding well and getting it through to the vacant mid-wicket area for a boundary. He's coming forward this time, can't beat the man at mid-wicket. Hayden Walsh Jr. We haven't really seen in operation much bowling in this game. Wonder if Black will be thinking of giving him a brief spell again. This one is a delivery that he's standing up. Kotoy pushes it into the offside. Jason Holder went to his right to pick up. And we haven't seen Holder so far this morning.
Well, so he was just doing some stretches out there, wondering whether he's going to come in, perhaps on the northern end.
Kotoy coming forward. In the end, they decided to go for the single late call from Chase. But in the end, Kotoy was able to move because he was on the momentum already, so he just had to continue going. They called by Chase in the end, probably realizing that the fielder would have had some distance to cover before they were able to complete the run and decided that in the end they would go for it. So it's Cornwall waiting for the mid-wicket to get into position. It's like outside the off stump, not too far away. But Chase seemed to have settled now into the pace of the wicket, judging the line very accurately, then allowing her to go too close to the off stump. It's coming forward, back up the track. They overcome Sweden, so Cornwall being able to put it back in the last couple of deliveries, 275, the loss of 7.
Yes, both Chase and Kotoy. There's no need to take any undue risk or chances against Cornwall with the introduction of Haddin in the other end. The previous over, they got some 17 runs. Proved to be very expensive, and it doesn't look like he will be given another over. Ryan, from what we are saying, he's coming to the long off boundary, so it looks like there's going to be a change in bowling almost immediately.
Yes, and it's going to be Pamal who's going to be entrusted to keep things tight, maybe even get some wickets here at the northern end. But it has really been an easing of the pressure, 17, and in the context of the match, would certainly prove to be one of the more expensive overs.
Yes, certainly the most expensive over we have seen in the entire game.
Yes. I'm sure Harding himself would have been disappointed in what actually happened.
Yes, certainly. Just looking at him there, Ryan is actually kicking the boundary rope, so he's very cross with himself and with his effort.
So after watching Mears bowl for so long this morning, given an opportunity in this one over being that expensive, and in the context of the game and the situation as it is now, I'm sure that he would have anticipated that his captain, Jermaine Blackwood, would have ought for that sort of change.
Yes, but it's a little surprising as much as we know that it's competitive and the teams really want to win, but I thought perhaps a second over to give him a chance to sort of redeem himself, but with less than just 40 odd runs remaining, I think Blackwood's thinking that he really needs to win this one and he's not going to give Haddin another chance.
Yes, I'm sure he would like to, get the redemption, and after having outperformed the opposition as far as the first innings efforts are concerned, that they would come closer in this game, if not at least with a victory, but bringing it very competitive right to the wire. So I think that's what is going to preoccupy his mind, plus all the players. They're playing for pride, and they're trying to see if they can come out victorious in this game. The best versus the best. Blackwood's team versus Hamilton's team. This one is outside the off stump and just played in front of him by Kotoy for a holder to come into field. So it's Pamor who is getting the opportunity. See if he can get the breakthrough for his team. And Kotoy is driving off the outer portion of the bat. It's gone square. They've taken one there, coming for the second rather easily, as Kaimi has had some work to do. Lost his heart in the process, but they've been able to complete with 2 runs. 277 for 7 now. Lots of 7s on the board. And Kotoy moves to 7 as well. Chase, non-strikers on 23. And Kotoy is on the back foot, but cannot get the space to really force it into the onside, and it goes back straight to the bowler. Kamal feeds to his own bowling. There's a slip and a forward shot leg in attacking position along the bat. Kotoy comes across, pushes it square on the offside to Mears, showing some competence with the bat. As you heard from Greg Wilson in the last few years, is getting decent returns in the Midland lower order for the Windies Islands, as Pamal is forcing it onto the back foot. With a very straight bat, plays it back up on the onside. It's Blackwood comes across the field and there's no run. So far Pamal has pulled things back a bit. Greg?
Yes, Dish has been doing exactly what the captain would have wanted of him.
He's experimenting a bit. He's coming around the wicket now, and there's the batsman Kotoy driving, beating, pulling it off. They're thinking of a second. They could have gotten it too, but then Chase deciding that Bravo was onto the ball. He picked up, the return came in, so they just settled for the single. And 278 for 7, and I think the most important thing for Hamilton's side there would be the fact that they have not lost a wicket, and that these two are trying to retrieve the situation somewhat.
Yes, good partnership developing between Kotoy and Chase. As I did indicate earlier on, and that Chase really would have to guide the lower order batting if they are to pull out a victory. And we saw the over from Hardin where he really seized the initiative and took advantage of some loose and wayward bowling from Hardin. So Pommel has been introduced into the attack to sort of bring a bit of respectability back into the bowling, and he has done that admirably in his first over.
But the two have added 26, 8 to Kotoy, and Chase has moved up to 23. So Kotoy seems resolute since he has come in. I think Chase will be inspired by that and try to see how they can get as close as possible to this target. And it's most likely that Cornwall will continue the attack from the southern end here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. Bit of cool conditions out in the middle. As Cornwall elects to come around the wicket to the left-handed Kotoy. Forward shot leg slip. Shea Hope at first slip. So he goes push into the offside. A chase for Harding. They've already completed one, they'll take the second. This one a bit too close to the batsman. Regulation half volley. And Kotoy just has come forward and found the gap. Beating the infield and bringing a chase for Harding. They've taken 2. And 280 now up on the board. 31 left, Greg Wilson is really chipping away at this target as Cornwall. Outside the awesome to wide for Kotoy to offer a shot, no run. So the interest in this game has been kept right through.
Yes, good grip in cricket.
Yes, and we've lost the sunshine now, a bit overcast outside, but we can't see the threat of rain at this present time as Kotoy just plays off the body out to the short mid wicket. Can't beat the fieldsman stationed there. Hayden Walsh. Underarms return to Cornwall. He's going past umpire Gregory Baffett now, and he's outside the off stump. Just pushing that left leg forward, allowing it to go through to the keeper. So a model of concentration so far from Kotoy. And it knows that he will need to study as long as possible to support Chase's driving a bit, maybe a bit loose, but not really getting sufficiently close to delivery, not timing it. But luckily for him, got sufficient bat onto it, straight to a long off feeler, no run. This one is played off the paddle. Gets a couple of runs here. It is between Bravo and Hayden Walsh, and a single easily completed. Chase is Walsh on. Will not have strike as the over comes to an end. And 281 on the board for 7 Greg Wilson. It's now overcast at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. The atmosphere is all right for the completion of this game. 30 runs. What a very delicate situation. 3 wickets in hand. And I think you're going to be a mathematician at the end of this, the kind of ratio that you've had to predict. And it's really been swinging one way or the other. But a quick wicket now, you can never tell, particularly if that of Chase goes, what could happen. It's very, very interesting.
Yes, very interesting, very dedicated poise there. This game, as it indicates, a wicket. Now we certainly swing it, the pendulum back in the favor of Blackwood 11, but with the way these two are batting out there, they seem to be growing in confidence. One would want to give the Hamilton 11 the nod at this stage, and it looks like Harding is going to come back into the attack.
It's quite interesting. I wonder what they're thinking of Blackwood. Maybe give Harding an over of penance. He's now coming in from the northern end to this delivery, Kotoy has to cover up. He started well on this occasion. On about the leg spin, but Kotoy was equal to it and played it back up the track. So there's the mid-off, extra cover. 2 slips of gully. Maybe not wanting to do too much damage to his confidence. Greg Wilson, after the hammering from the bat of Chase, and then to lose the confidence of your captain in a double whammy. So he's given an opportunity now to pull things back. I'm sure he's going to feel much more commitment to get that done. His delivery is up to the batsman. He's driving through extra cover. Doesn't seem to have sufficient to get to the boundary. Jason Holder is chasing, and they're coming back for the third. So Chase will be on strike, and again, they are whittling down this target. 284 now it is for 7.
Yes, target now below 30 as a batting pair, and this is the sort of things that you look at. Let's get it below 40, let's get it below 20, into the teens, and those small little targets certainly can help you in getting to a victory.
Yes, Greg Wilson, I don't know if you've noticed, but we may have a slight drizzle. You know, we got some perspex in front of us. May not let it see fully outside the natural setting in front of us, but I think there's just a slight drizzle, but doesn't seem to be one that will drive the players off at this time. Harding in, and this time Hope is on the back foot, hitting square, can beat the fielder straight to Pomor. The fielder posted square, but it went straight to him, no chance of a run. 284 for 7. Which is a very, very light indeed. Maybe just blown away. Actually, it's become a little lighter out in the middle. And that has been a consistent factor as well. Throughout the 4 days, we've had periods of overcast conditions. Luckily, yesterday, we did not have the players drawn off the field, but it's going to be Harding in again, and Chase is driving and edging over the third slip on this occasion. Hope can get anything on it, and it's down all the way to the boundary for 4. So Harding still concealing a boundary, maybe a bit dangerously for Chase, but in the end, the boundary being registered and the score moving up to 288 for 7, and Hamilton's team getting even closer.
Yes, they are getting even closer, but Chase certainly ran. Looked like he has made up his mind that he is going to take the attack to Harding, and that he is doing successfully.
So Harding, back at his mark. You're a bit undone by the edge not carrying. Chase went hard, and the edge was well over the slip. Hope not a tall man by any chance. And he went over his head down to the boundary for 4. So only short and making much more height. Quick delivery, no ball call too. So it's a lot of pace, the extra effort, and also the overstepping on the front crease. So Harding may be showing some frustration there, putting his back into that one. And the extra bringing the score now to 289 for 7. We've had 92 overs completed, maybe just 2 deliveries left in over number 93. And Hamilton side within sight of victory. 3 wickets still standing. It's only short and cut. This time it will beat Pomor well into the boundary. It goes over the rope now. No chance, just to retrieve. So the gamble not paying off on this occasion either, Greg Wilson. Too short, too wide, and that one hammered by Roston Chase. Too much experience, getting well over that one, and hammering down to the extra cover of boundary for 4.
Yes, Harding short and wide, and just looking at the monitor, you will really see the bat speed of Chase came down quickly on this one, and it went like a trace bullet across the outfield down to the boundary for 4. So as you did indicate, Harding really having a rough time out there. The gamble taken by the Captain Blackwood, giving him a second over to sort of redeem himself, but certainly still proving to be very expensive.
Yes, Roston Chase seems to have taken a liking to him, because it's been Chase who's been the one that's really capitalized on the length and the way that he's given. This one is a lovely looking shot, very stylishly on this occasion. by Chase, this time 4 runs down to the wide long on region, and certainly I'm sure his confidence would be dented. And 4 more, score up to 297. So one way or the other, Joseph Reds Pereira will bring up the end of this match. Greg Wilson, further comments from you, and hopefully to bring us to the end of this match will be Joseph Reds Pereira.
Yes, good batting there, good positive, aggressive, control aggression, one would say, by Rod Sanchez, really taking a liking to Harding. He seems to have decided he's going to target him if they are going to bring about this victory, and he has done it and done it very successfully. So just 14 runs required for victory. Reds, I dare say that the pendulum has swung in the favor of Hamilton in 95-5.
You're the bookie in this commentary panel. Bright sunshine, and that's a top edge, just a chance. Well, it was a chance. There was well, it really should have been Pamal's catch, I would think. I don't know why the man at squarish cover was running. It was a real bad shot, a wipe by the left-hander. Pamal was getting under it, and Harding just charged across. Memories of Wesley Hall running from his bowling action and knocking down Kanhai and Brisbane in the tie test. But why? I mean, it was very obvious that the man nearest to the ball should have taken it. Luckily, there's no injury. Harding just holding the left hand a bit. So Kotoy gets a chance, and Cornwall misses an opportunity to pick up wickets. He's seeing runs scored off. He's just short and tucked away by Chase. The return is very, very high and stretching the silver out. He's not as tall, let's say, as Michael Finley or as tall as Jackie Hendricks. I had to go way up like a goalkeeper. 300 on the board for 7. Chase 37. He's come out free of pain from yesterday afternoon, and Cornwall bowls and looking to flick that away nicely. And it's a walking single almost as the ball goes to Harding at square leg. So it's going to finish well before lunch. But there are all kinds of people listening to the cricket. I just got a message about the football results. I was talking a little bit about football earlier. Delivery to Kotoy. But it wasn't a good shot that he got dropped off eventually.
Yes, very ugly looking shot, Reds.
So, long bit of work for Cornwall, who steps in and bowls to Kotoy. Kotoy goes back, plays off the back foot down towards backward point. I'll try and respond to the good person who sent me the scores of yesterday. Kotoy, 15, enjoying the opportunity to get a bit of batting, comes forward and almost takes the outside edge. I think the Silver was looking for a stump also. So the over is completed, 301 for 7. They need 10 more. Just some details. Dominica 3, Anguilla 0. Montserrat had a 4-0 victory over the USVI. Cuba 5, British Virgin Islands 0. Cayman Islands had a loss, Aruba winning 3-1, and Puerto Rico beating the Bahamas 7-0. So a fair amount of runs scored. You played volleyball and cricket, played any football?
Yes, Reds, I did. Reds in school, I played almost everything.
Everything?
Yeah. I played midfield, played forward, and eventually ended up as the goalkeeper for the football team.
Well, a genuine all-rounder. So Harding will continue. Expensive in the last over, and cost catch not to be taken by Pamal. He really ran like a 100-meter runner, as if he wasn't seeing Pamal. They collided. We've seen that very often. When last we heard, England were 38 for 2. They were 18 for 2 when last we checked. 38 for 2. New Zealand made 374. A lot will depend on Joe Root and Burns to steady the ship. I don't believe anybody can steady the ship or make the ship sail home for the Hamilton team. Chase on 38 and goes for very wide slash outside the off stump as if he wanted to end it all, but still 10 more to come. And in cricket we have seen some funny old things where there can be still a mini collapse at the end.
Still possible, a hat-trick can win the game.
Yep. Warrican and I think Seals to come next. And one other. Lost his brow. Tall Barbadian. He runs away from us and goes in. And I don't know what the mood is in Chase's makeup right now. He's swinging at everything. And he was trying to hit that somehow on the onside. Lost the concentration.
I'm starting to think whether there's a little, probably some club rivalry back home that is brought into this game here. For all you know, Reds is really taking the attack to Harding.
Yeah, well, that has nothing to do with West Indies cricket. You got a game to win it, and don't lose your focus on what you're here for. Harding, running away from us, comes up to Chase. Chase looking to drive at that and hits it high out towards, I lost it momentarily, hit high on the base of the press stand, which will be not attracting too many pressmen in a game like this today, but maybe more when the test match starts. So it's very close to the end, 307. With that mood, he's only probably looking for a boundary to end it all.
Yes, we have 2 deliveries left. It might very well end in this over, Reds.
He moves to 44. It's been a good stand. Katoy has batted well. 251 was 7 when they got together. 15, Katoy, he's the non-striker. Chased on 44, Harding goes in. That's short and cut away. And Pamal comes off the cover boundary, just a single. Sweeping out there. And no ball called. Yeah. Less runs to get now. I need 2. Maybe Katoy can have the honor of the winning run.
Yes, Reds.
Or the winning stroke, because it's not just the winning run. Unless there's another no ball. So 4 days of cricket, well, 3 days and a session. And today a holiday in the Christian community of the Caribbean. Still, there's 3 steps in the gully. Now it's time to take wickets, so you can't defend. As Harding bowls and has swung away, and that's the end. It goes to the right of the silver, and that completes the end. He moves to 19, not out. Katoy, 45 to Chase, and the Blackwood 11, winning by 3 wickets.
Yes, you could say in the end, Reds, perhaps a convincing victory. Coming from behind after conceding some 86 runs first innings, having the Blackwood team 197 for 3 overnights and a total meltdown yesterday.
Yep.
Getting some 7 wickets for 24 runs, for 27 runs, sorry.
27, yeah.
For 27, so really they were playing catch up and they came back very well in the game and won it convincingly, one would say.
So, West Indies board arranging this camp and arranging the trial. There are some players who had to quarantine. I'm not sure if Prophet, the captain, is back or if Atari Joseph is back yet. We thought that maybe Jason Holder would have had an over 2, but maybe it's too early after quarantining, Greg?
Well, yes, Red, I thought he would have been given a chance to to roll over his arms. That was not to be. I'm certain that he will be quite pleased to have been out in the middle.
Yes.
I saw in the very early overs he was doing quite a bit of rolling around the square area.
In fact, I saw on Facebook that Mindley has had a negative couple of COVID tests, and I think he is now allowed to resume training. So everybody, except maybe Gabriel and Smith, there's been no press release on them, but Gabriel hamstring and Smith seem to have a upper body near the rib cage, no details. But the two teams now meet, and I wouldn't be too surprised if a few people will go into the nets, have lunch at the ground, and then head into the nets. Bonner, for example, can use a long net. De Silva also.
There's a strong possibility, Rez. It's still early. As you indicate, it's not lunchtime yet. I'm certain there are a few bowlers there that could do it for a workout.
Yes, definitely. So it's not going to be a free afternoon, and so many days left. So many days left before the test match on the 10th. There's a lot of work to be done, physical work, mental work, tactical work, analyzing the opposition, and almost a newish look. South African team, they've had a fair amount of changes. A number of people not available anymore. Amla's gone to play county cricket. Du Plessis not in the test side. So a new look South African team. The bowling looks strong. The batting maybe we don't know about.
Yes, so it should make for a very interesting test match. Certainly, I think everyone is looking forward to the game out here to see, especially the fast bowlers in action from both teams.
Yeah. You think about the South African test match, the first was really a nail-biter towards the end. So that's the details for you. Yeah, don't need for us to repeat those details. You're seeing it for yourself. And winning by 3 wickets. Winning by 3 wickets. So nice, quiet surroundings. I suppose the main disappointment would have been maybe the injuries, knee to John Campbell, Smith with upper body, rib cage injury, and of course the big one, Gabriel.
Yes, This would be one of the, I mean, like you did indicate, Reds, the sort of disappointment really coming out of the game. Don't want to see any player get injured, especially close to a test match, especially your ace fast bowler in Shannon Gabriel. You don't know whether he'll be fit in time for the test. And in the batting area, one would say the two biggest disappointment would have been the batting of De Silva and that of Bonner.
And maybe Mares too. Northern 38, not exactly what you want before a test match.
Yeah, especially the man of dismissal in the first innings, where the very first delivery he faced, he really looked to pull one backward square, was in no position, very early days, and just top edge. And Maxwell took a very comfortable catch.
But every indication that the plans are to bowl Mares maybe more, if I can say that, in the test match.
Yes, based on what we saw he did today. He bowled nice tight lines and length and did not give much away. So,
time to say goodbye from the Darren Summy, and a very pleasant afternoon. One of the big fast bowlers having a little walk there. Is that Thomas?
Yes, it's Ocean Thomas.
Yes, Thomas. So he might be having a bowl. So there is indication that this is not a free afternoon. I think that Phil Simmons is coming out.
Maybe indicating to the ground staff. He's trying to signal something to them.
Yep, trying to get their attention. So it's all wrapped up here. We want to thank, the organizers of the YouTube, the West Indies board, all the officials, and our technicians who we only see at the lunchtime period, but they obviously did a fine job. It got better and better as we went on. The reports that everyone enjoyed the pictures. The pictures were of a very high standard, and congratulations to them, and congratulations to the West Indies board, because this could have been played, and without the coverage on YouTube, very little would be known in the Caribbean unless stations and newspapers were carrying scores.
Yes, Reds, it's always good that players can get the exposure. The region, the wider world could see some players. So then there are persons who are seeing players, but they may have heard the name, but seeing them in action for the first time.
Yep. So a lot of people saw the majority of the squad who were allowed to come to the ground, who were back in St. Lucia, who were not in quarantine. So we will now pull up stumps here. You are off to watch some Sanders on the 19, knowing you?
Yes, I think I will pop. I know the park, there's a game in the park, there's a game in Grosley, so I might stop Grosley for a few minutes, and on my way home, stop at them in the Phillip Park as well.
So on behalf of Ryan O'Brien, Greg Wilson, let me again thank all who made the broadcast possible, those people in Antigua who orchestrated and maybe beyond Antigua, and the technical staff who is not near us, but we can certainly thank them. So until we maybe come back here for the test match on June the 10th, South Africa will be playing on the weekend, so maybe I might just pass it around, Greg. It'll be interesting just to get a look at the South Africans.
Yes, Red, but I also have under-19 duties. There are a few games that have been played around, so the selectors have to go around and view some of the games, so I'm not sure if I will have the opportunity to really come at the Darren Semi. But I would love to, if it's possible, again, Red, with the whole bubble, persons not really have access, free access to the venue. So it may not be entirely possible for us to come in and witness the game. But if it is, I would have loved to pop in and see from a distance.
Yes, the bubble does have constraints. It's not the years of the past where you were free to come and watch a net, or the case may be. So the West Indies team is about to get some practice in. I think we're seeing Jason Holt out there. And we will say goodbye from a very sunny Darren Sammy, and we hope that you've enjoyed the coverage provided by Cricket West Indies.